Today's quote: Evel Knievel did not get paid for the success, he got paid for the attempt. But now I want to get into entrepreneur productivity, how to get more done and create more value. So, with productivity, the inner game is creativity, the outer game is productivity. Winning means mastering both. Okay. And we're going to get pretty deep into how to be more productive as an entrepreneur. The two sides, though, of the entrepreneur game. Obviously, you got to be creative, right? And creative isn't even the correct word. I believe the correct word is now generative, which means you are the generator. You generate new business ideas, you generate new businesses, you generate new opportunities, you generate new um, customers, right? You generate new employees. So the biggest thing as an entrepreneur is you have to take ideas and you have to make them into reality, right? So the inner game though is creativity. It's visualizing, it's seeing exactly what it is that you want to create, and then the outer game is the productivity of making what you visualize and what you see in your mind a reality in this world. And that's why entrepreneurs it's is so powerful. The problem is, if you're like me, you have a billion different ideas and a billion different things going on all at once, and you have to find a way to actually be the most productive entrepreneur that you possibly can. Because most don't fail for lack of ideas, they fail by not getting enough done. So, productivity is the key thing. The myth of self control, okay? Most behavior is automatic, it's not controlled, all right? Self control is a skill you build, so don't wait for it to feel ready. You have to start now. And to go a level deeper on this, if you think about our genetics and so if you think about our minds though, we were, cavemen, we were chimps, and now we live in a world where there's so much distraction that it's almost impossible for us to not really, have full control, right? We're always bombarded with notifications, my dog, you know, things around you that are distracting you. The only way to truly master this is to have self control. Okay. So you have to build this though like a muscle. It's like you're working out every single day. And you have to prioritize this because the reality is we don't have that much willpower, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, I have all these great ideas, but I can't get anything done." And willpower is an interesting concept because you can build more willpower, but they've also done studies that say that willpower is affected by number one, our internal dialogue. Okay, so you can actually burn willpower by staying quiet, not expressing yourself, having too many internal conflicts and thoughts inside of our mind. You can also burn willpower by making too many decisions. It's called decision fatigue. You can also burn willpower by just being in stressful environments because you're constantly having to overcome these things as opposed to using your willpower to be productive is what we want. So self-control is a skill and you have to work on it daily. You have to master this to be a good entrepreneur. The way you do this is by turning yourself on manual mode. All right. So, like, I have a camera and there's all these fancy settings on it that you can tweak and you can make better and clearer pictures and stuff like that. But then if you go to, like the world records or whatever, like the photography pictures that are taken of the year, most of the time, the best pictures of the year are taken on manual mode. And that means that, yes, there's all these settings and all these things that we can do, but the best pictures are often taken by the photographer who puts it on manual mode and just does it from their natural skills. Okay, so automatic mode is like habits and unconscious patterns, right? It's reflexes. If every day you do the exact same thing, your brain is always creating these neural pathways to do the least amount of work possible. So if you're ever trying to create a new habit, if you're ever trying to build something new, you have to put yourself on manual mode in order to do it. And you have to understand this and you have to master the ability to shut out the noise, put yourself on manual mode, and then do the most productive tasks possible. This is what entrepreneurism is, right? This is what you have to do. So there's two things you have to do. Number one, focus on the new habit, right? What is the new habit going to be? And create a morning ritual where your willpower is the highest. And as an entrepreneur, the most valuable task that you can do is creating the most value. Okay, so this is the key idea of this, of being more productive. What is the most valuable thing an entrepreneur can do? And I believe it is two things, really, it's three things. But number one is creating new products. As an entrepreneur, the most valuable task that you can do is create new products, creating new marketing, and creating a good customer experience. Those are really the big three things that as an entrepreneur you need to focus on. It's not replying to emails or really even doing sales calls or doing all these things that can be delegated. The core, fundamental, most important thing that you can do as an entrepreneur to be more productive is focus on creating new products, creating new marketing, and creating a better customer experience. And then this kind of goes back to shifting your focus. Okay, so most employees believe if I do the work, I put in the hours, I get paid. But that's not how it actually works in the real world. In the real world, as an entrepreneur, you do not need to put in the hours necessarily. It's work smarter, not harder. You want to work on the most valuable things that you can do. You want to be a value creation. A really cool quote that I heard the other day is, if the person that worked the most made the most money, then the donkey would own the farm. I think that's an amazing quote. I think that's super powerful. I'll say it again. If the person that worked the most made the most money, then the donkey would own the farm, right? So the reality is you have to figure out your priorities of what is it that you can do to create the absolute most value for your life, for your business, as an entrepreneur. And the key thing for that, again, is value creation and putting yourself on manual mode and creating this habit of always doing it, of always having a period of time where you're in that creation mode, where you're actually creating something, where you go from creativity to the outward game of actually being productive and building the things. Okay. And you have to kill the I need to remember to. Okay. This is just a lie. This is procrastination disguised as you need to remember this. The best way for you to actually be productive is to build a ritual and build a system for you to have these value creating opportunities for yourself. So schedule your top value creating actions to do daily. Your daily value creation ritual. This is what you should do, is you should block out at least 90 minutes for product creation. Okay? Block out 90 minutes for marketing creation and do this before you have to do sales calls, before you open up your emails, before you do any meetings. And this will make you the most productive entrepreneur that you can possibly be. And the reason that this is again, the most valuable thing that an entrepreneur can do is create new products, create new marketing, and create a better customer experience. And in order for you to truly embrace being a entrepreneur and being as productive as humanly possible, you have to always be doing the most valuable thing that you can possibly do, which is typically creating new products, creating new marketing, or creating a better customer experience. And you need to create this habit daily, a 90-minute block before all your meetings happen, where you can think clearly and you can be in that deep work. You also have to understand yourself. In the mornings I day trade and I do all this other stuff. So I have a different block where I block out from about 4 to 7 o'clock is when I just create stuff for me. I'm not talking to meetings. I'm not doing anything. And I try and make that my ritual. But you have to find yours that makes the most sense and works the best for you. So here's the actions that you need to take. Number one, start a morning ritual of value creation before your distractions, or find a period in the day where you can dedicate solely to morning to creating value. The other thing that I found that's super helpful is Monday through Friday, I work on the value of the business right now. Saturday and Sunday, I work on my future value. I work on new products. I work on new things. That's only if you're more advanced, though. Number two is you got to switch to manual mode. Okay. Be conscious about what creates the most value. List out all of the most valuable things that you can do, and then build the skill of self-control to grow stronger with this practice. Another thing that I always ask myself that I do from trading that I think is the most valuable is I always ask myself, where is the big money? Okay. Where is the big money? And this is a thing that I'd like to ask myself as well as an entrepreneur, not just in day trading, but it's like, if I do these things, is this where the big money is? And then I make a list of the most valuable tasks that'll get me closer to getting to where I believe the big money is. And this has made me wildly successful and has made me the entrepreneur that I am today, right? So I think that was really powerful. I hope you got some value out of this little presentation. But it's all about being more productive, right? And being better with your time. And the way that you can do this is you can really block out periods of your calendar where you do the deep work, and then you create a ritual where you do this kind of thing every single day. Cool. So I hope that was helpful. Let's see. Do Is have any questions? Now, yeah, this is for if you want to be an entrepreneur. It's not for a job. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if TikTok is still alive. You guys got any questions or anything like that? I'm trying to think of what other things we can do. So, I mean, productivity and time management, really for me, it's like I believe that God is in the details, right? And as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, my job typically is putting out fires, doing the work that nobody else wants to do or nobody else is capable of doing, and then really figuring out how can I delegate these repeatable tasks so that I can get more of my time back so I can work on the things that I am best at, right? I am the best at creating new offers, creating new marketing, and creating a better customer experience. But then if I find myself doing repeatable things, I find ways to delegate those things, I find ways to automate those things, and I find ways to eliminate those things unless I truly enjoy doing that work. And then I get into the details because, like, I do believe that most of my employees are capable of getting super microscopic and doing the really tough stuff. But for the most part, as the CEO, I find myself having to do those things. So I just embrace it. And a lot of people believe that, you know, life is all about making your life easier with automation, delegation, and elimination. But I am also a firm believer that the actually I wrote this down, that the life experience in doing that is actually the richest part of life is in the hard work, right? That's like where the magic happens, to be honest with you. Lots of people making work easier. They think that this is the way to go. Make your life easier, do nothing, sit on the beach all day, 4-hour work week. And I do believe there is part of that that's super important. But I also believe that the richness in the human life and the human experience only lies within two things that you need to pay attention to. That's work and that's love. So everything else is just nonsense. But if you love your work, do that work because the further you go down that rabbit hole, the more that you put love into it, the more that you put attention into it, the better it's going to be. So I hope that was helpful. That's basically my tips for entrepreneur productivity. And I think you can really learn a lot from creating that ritual of creating value. And this can be for anything. This can be always create new products, create new offers inside of your business that you already have, creating new marketing, and then creating a better customer experience. And as an entrepreneur, that'll be the core of your best time management and your productivity. All right, we'll do some more of these in another one, but hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me see actually if I have another presentation. Might as well just bust out another one. We'll end this stream actually, and we'll whip up another one later. All right, peace, everybody. Beans. Why do people think that entrepreneur